Tai labą dieną visiems, malonu Jūs matyti šitam mažam, bet svarbiam seminare. Ir tema, kaip matote, statybų projekto informacija, plačiaja ta žodžio prasme, ir jos panaudojimas eksploatacijai. Manyčiau, aktuali tema ir ne veltui iš čia. Ir apie ką kalbėsim šitam seminare, kaip organizuoti efektyvesnį statybos projektų informacijos surinkimą, perdavimą, eksploatacijai ir panaudojimo eksploatacijos procese. Turbūt ta paskutinė dalis labiausiai domina ir labiausiai intriguoja, nes būtent šitoje vietoje mes nelabai turime gerų sprendimų, vadinkim taip, iš vis tokių kaip po sprendimų. Iš kitos pusės, kai kurie turto vystytojai arba turto savininkai, ne per daugiausiai ir akcentuoja būtent šitą dalį. Tiesiog srebia tas problemas ir taip, gyvenimas yra gyvenimas, vadinkim taip. Tai seminaro metu nagrinėsime statybos projektų informacijos valdymo procesą, detaliai apžvelgsime problemas, pristatysime galimus sprendimus ir technologijas ir metodus tom problemoms spręsti. Ir susipažinsime su gerąją praktiką ir tam mes pasikvietėm pas mūsų seminarą svečius. Iš principo šnekam apie štai ką, mes šnekam apie daug kas skaitmenizuojasi, o mūsų ta projektinės informacijos perdavimo procesas ir jos panaudojimas lieka toks. Ir pats asmeniškai prisimenu, kaip prieš 7-8 metus mane pakvietė Žalgirio arenos Kaune vykdantysis direktorius ir paklausė, ar mes negalim subiminti viso to projekto, nes jis buvo 2D tuomet darytas, buvo intencijos kažką daryti 3D. Ir aš paklausiau, kodėl. Jisai man parodė dvigubai didesnę spintą negu čia šoninė spinta. Ir pasakė, pas mus, kada pradeda kažkas nors gesti, mūsų inžinieriai, o ten buvo 5 aptarnaujantis inžinieriai, bando susirasti informaciją reikalingą. Ir nurodo mum į tas spintas popierinės. Ir tai buvo didžiulė bėda, ir ta bėda, mes buvom lyg ir netgi sutarę, kad mes pabandykim, subiminti ir kažkaip sujungti visą tą informaciją į tą skaitmeninį trimatį formatą, vadinkim taip, bet praėjo 2 metai, tie inžinieriai išmoko mintinai, kur kas iš tikrųjų yra, ir problema netapo aktuali iki turbūt tol, kol tie inžinieriai vėl pasikeis. Taip. Taigi, mums šiandien pagrindiniai pranešėjai bus ir talkins Nerijus Kurcevičius iš Baltic Management įmonės vadovas, sakykim taip, turbūt daug kas jį pažįsta čia esantis taip, bet ir mūsų svečias iš Katenda organizacijos Julian, jisai papasakos mums apie, sakykim taip, praktiką, apie savo klientų, apie įvairių tarptautinių pasaulio klientų praktiką, kodėl jie priiminėja vienokius ir kitokius sprendimus, kaip jie išnaudoja, kaip jie skaitmenina, vadinkime taip, plačiaja ta žodžio prasme, nebūtinai bimina, bet skaitmenina informaciją ir jos valdymą. Ir temos yra iš tikrųjų 3, tai yra Nerijaus įžanginė tema, kodėl tai svarbu, tada geroji praktika Džiulino ir tada Nerijus pabandys trumpai labai apibendrinti ir pasakyti, o ką reikėtų daryti, nuo ko reikėtų pradėti tvarkyti šitą problemą, vadinkim tai, nes tai yra svarbu. Jeigu mes žinom ką, tai klausimas, o ką mes turėtumėm daryti. Čia lygiai taip pat kaip anksčiau mes gaudom klausimus, gerai, mes norim bimo, o ką mums daryti, kaip čia pradėti. Tai tas pats klausimas ir po to mes tada paliksim laiką diskusijai, kiek jūs norėsite. Džiulinas neribotas šiandien laike ir gali diskutuoti apie konkrečius pavyzdžius, apie jūsų įmonės organizacijos specifiką ir taikomumą arba tam tikrų papildomų pavyzdžių pateikimą jums. Tiek. Please. Nerijus.
Tai sveiki. Ačiū Ernestai už pristatymą. Kaip ir minėjau, daug kas mane pažįsta. Nerijus Kurcevičius, Baltic Management įmonės vadovas. Šiandien tokia tema, kur Aš kaip ir sakau, nieko naujo nepapasakosiu. Visi viską žino, bet kaip moksleivė susirinkę po vasaros atostogų mes turim pasikartoti savo tas problemas ir galbūt pagalvoti, kaip mes jas galėtume pagerinti, spręsti ir panašiai. Tai tema paprasta, informacijos svarba. Labai viskas, sakyčiau, paprasta. Tai jeigu labai trumpai, mūsų įmonė užsiema, reiškia, visomis BIM vadybos paslaugomis visame pastato gyvenimo laikotarpį. Ir šiandien mes, jau kaip supratot, fokusuosimės į 6D, į tą mūsų eksploatacijos etapą. Esmė yra paprasta, kad mes negalim iššokti į tą 6D, į tą eksploataciją, jeigu mes realiai nepasiruošėm per kitus etapus. Turim apie tai galvoti, turim tam ruoštis ir turim, reiškia, judėti taip, kad tas 6D etapas taptų įmanomas įgyvendinti. Tai projekto statybinė informacija. Viskas iš tikrųjų, kaip ir sakiau, yra labai paprasta, bet pasitelkus Google galimybės pabandžiau surasti, o tai kas tas yra ta statybos dokumentacija. Tai dokumentai, kurių pagalba apibrėžiami statybų darbai, kurios turi atlikti projektuotojai, rangovai ir kiti dalyviai, siekiant įgyvendinti konkretų projektą. Viskas skamba labai paprastai. Prie to dar yra ir tikslas. Tai tikslas yra vis tik tai panaudojimumas, apibrėžiantais dokumentus visose statybos dalyvaujančiose šalis kartu koordinuoja savo veiksmus, kad pastatas popierėje būtų paverstas realybė. Iš šito tikslo man labai kliūna aiškiai apibrėžti dokumentai ir jų, kaip sakoma, popierinės versijos panaudojimas realybėje. Tai netgi Google'as iki šiol dar vis galvoja, kad mes iš popieriaus turim statyti ir kad tie apibrėžti tikslai dažniausiai būna labai aiškus. Tai iš tikrųjų realybė yra, turbūt visi žinot, kad yra netokia ir tikrai daug niuansų. Pastatas ar projektai yra tikrai sudėtingi procesai, kur reikia apimti tikrai labai daug žinių ir labai didelį kiekį dokumentacijos. Jeigu visą tą dokumentaciją mes paversime paprastai, kažkokį vieną žodį, mes ją vadintume informacija. Tai informacija, jeigu kiekvieną savo užduosim klausimą, tai kas yra informacija, pabandyti sugalvoti apibrėžimą turbūt ne taip paprasta. Bet aš radau labai gerą apibrėžimą. Tai, kad tu kam nors, ką nors sakai ar perdadi, nes jis gali to nežinoti ar neturėti ir tai gali būti jam naudinga. Iš tikrųjų, tai apibrėžimas, kuris tikrai yra toks tikslus, nes vėlgi grįžtant prie to, kad informacijos yra labai daug ir kokios informacijos, kam reikės, kokioj situacijoje, kada, kokiu laiku, yra tikrai sunku nuspėti. Tai visuomet mes pradėdami bet kokį projektą turėtume galvoti būtent apie tai, kad mes kūrėm visų pirma informaciją, tai yra duomenų bazė, tai yra, kad tie duomenys kažkada kažkam gali būti naudingi ir jie kažkas turės paimti jie ir panaudoti. Tai jeigu, kalbant paprasčiau ir bandyti sustruktūrizuoti, kokia ta projektų dokumentacija gali būti. Ne, tai mes sakom, turim projektinę dokumentaciją, nuo projektavimo užduočių, prašymų, sąlygų, leidimų ir patį projektą turim, aišku. Čia yra tik labai sustambinta. Tai yra tik tai, mes, kaip sakoma, tą gramdam paviršių apie tai, kokie tie dokumentai yra, kas juos turi, kas juos valdo, kur juos saugo ir panašiai. Aš net nekalbu apie jų pačių kokybę. Einant toliau mes turim, pavadinau, finansinę dokumentaciją. Tai yra nuo verslo plano, pirminės idėjos, biudžetavimai, pasiūlymai, konkursinė informacija ir taip toliau ir panašiai. Vėlgi, kur tą dokumentą nusėda, kas jos valdo, kas turi prieigą ir taip toliau ir panašiai. Einant toliau, mes turim statybinę dokumentaciją, darbo projektas, specifikacijos, žiniaraščiai, darbų sauga, leidimai ir taip toliau ir panašiai, kuri yra pastoviai besikeičianti, besitransformuojanti ir vėlgi atsekamumo klausimas iškyla kaip visada ir panašiai ir taip toliau. Na ir paskutinė grupė, tai yra, kalbant, einant link eksploatacijos, mes turim tą vadinamą išpildomąją dokumentaciją. Vėlgi, čia nesinori, kaip sakoma, aptarinėti, kas tai yra, visi, aš manau, tai žino, bet mūsų tikslas tas taip pastatyta, iki kurio mes turim prieiti, ne visuomet yra toks paprastas. Yra labai daug suinteresuotų grupių, kas yra įsivėlę į tai, kas dalyvauja, kas kūrė, kas kaupia, keičia ir taip toliau ir panašiai. Tai kur mes tą informaciją laikom? Kur ta informacija visa kaupiama, kur jinai yra iš tikrųjų? Tai tą, ką Ernestas jau rodė, popierinė, tą bardaką, mes visi esame matę ir dėja iki šiol jisai vis dar yra ir gajus. Yra tikrai nemažai projektų, kur dėja ta visa išpildomoji dokumentacija yra tokioj formoje ir kai jas reikia kažkam, jinai dėja yra nepasiekiama arba tikrai pasiekiama su dideliais resursais. Kur dar? Kompiuterį galbūt laikom. Irgi jau geresnis variantas, jau turim kompiuterį, klausimas vėl. Viename kompiuterė, 2 kompiuteriuose, 17 kompiuterių. Gerai, kad nebūtų taip, kad pas kažką kompiuterį mes laikom. Deja, bet ir tokią praktiką iki šių dienų turim. Ir kaip tik čia nesenai man papasakojo statybinės įmonės vadovas. Sako, taip, mes savo visą informaciją laikėm. Vieną dieną atėjom ir sako, raudonas ekranas, sako, susimokėkit kelis bitkoinus. Tai čia atskira tema apie tai, bet mintis pagrindinė yra ta, kad informacijos valdytojas turi tas, kuris stato. Informaciją turi turėti tas, kuris, reiškia, nori turėti kažkokį tai objektą pastatytą ir galų galę sukurti tą duomenų bazę, kad jinai būtų prieinama visiems tiem, kam reikia ir visada. Bet gerai, čia yra atskira gal tema, tai tęsiant. Tai kur mes laikom tą informaciją, ne? Kompiuterį. Gerai, jeigu turim kompiuterį ir turim tuos įprastus failus, formatus, gal ir viskas neblogai, bet šiais laikais, ypač galvojant apie biminės technologijas, ne, tai galim turėti begalės formatų. Ir tie kompiuteriai, ne visi galbūt ir gali tai daryti. Kažkas neturi programos, kažkas neskaito kažkokių formatų ir taip toliau ir panašiai. Tai vėlgi, turėjimas kažkur vienam keliuose kompiuteriuose informacija realiai problemos nelabai išsprendžia. Tai jeigu turim debesį, jau neblogai. Klausimas tik tai, ar tikrai vienam debesį, kada tas debesis buvo sukurtas. Galbūt projektuotojai turėjo savo debesį, rangovas savo debesį ir taip toliau. Ir finale ta informacija vėlgi kažkur tai yra pasimetusi, kažkas tai kažką turi, dalinę informaciją ir taip toliau ir panašiai. Jeigu bandyti savo atsakyti klausimus, tai kas blogai su ta informacija, kuris skirta eksploatacijai, tai galim kalbėti apie kelias pozicijas. Ne? Tai yra netiksli arba nepakeista informacija, tai yra nėra projekto be pakeitimų ir pakeitimai turėtų būti ne tik statybvietėj, bet jie turėtų būti ir toj pačioj dokumentacijai. Procesas tikrai, kas yra buvę statyboje, nėra pats paprasčiausias. Visuomet yra begalės kitų klausimų, bet neturint tos informacijos atitikties, tai yra tikrai sudėtinga paskui galvoti apie korektišką eksploataciją. Kas toliau? Prastai organizuoti duomenis. Tai yra, net galim turėti ten tas PDF-us. Bet kaip taisyklė, irgi iš savo praktikos teko matyti, kai sako, va, mes turim suskaitmenizuotą, atsidarom tas PDF-us ir ten yra dėžė 1, dėžė 2, dėžė 3. Kas iš to, vėl nežino, tu turi tiesiog ieškoti, kas tai yra ir panašiai. Kas dar? Nestandartizuoti failų pavadinimai. Tai yra, nėra aiškios tvarkos. Tai yra kažkas kaip sugalvojo, paskutinis failas, dar kažkoks tai formatai neaiškus. Jau nekalbant apie tai, kad nėra nei versijavimo, nei kažkokio tai registro, kur galų gale galima būtų atsidaryti, susirasti, ar toks dokumentas yra ir pasižiūrėti, kur jisai yra. Kas dar? Ribota prieiga. Tai čia plačiaja prasme. Vėlgi, jeigu ta dokumentacija yra išmėtyta, kažkur popierinė, kažkur pas kažką kompiuterį, pas kažkokiam tai Dropbox ir panašiai, tai tos informacijos, kai nėra vienos tvarkos, tai jinai kaip ir yra, bet kaip ir nėra. Dažniausiai eksploatacijai, jeigu kalbam apie kažkokius remontus, apie dalykus, tai reikia informacijos čia ir dabar. Kontakto, specifikacijos, žiniaraščio ar kažko tai panašiai. Jau kaip ir minėjau, failų formatai, vėlgi tai yra problema, gali būti informacija vietoj, bet jinai gali būti tiesiog neprieinama fiziškai dėl įvairiausių priežasčių, dėl savo neturėjimo softo, nemokėjimo naudojimas ir taip toliau. Kas dar? Nebeaktuali informacija, tai yra eksploatacijos metu įvykę pakeitimai, atlikti remontai, kurie vėlgi niekaip neatsispindėjo toj pačioj dokumentacijai, ateičiai, tolimesniai to pastato eksploatacijai ir ką su juo toliau daryti. Na ir gal paskutinis, tai yra nepakankamos žinios. Dažnai mes irgi iš savo praktikos žinom, kad programinės įrangos, kurios buvo kūriamos, jos dažnai buvo orientuotos į specialistus. Tai yra specialisto lygio vartotojas turi naudoti tą vieną ar kitą programą. Šiai dienai mes šnekame apie tai, kad atėjus eksploatuoti žmogų, jis yra vartotojas, jis ne specialistas, jis nėra kažkoks ten BIM žinių, gūrų ir panašiai. Tai yra apie tai šnekam, kad programa turi būti intuityvi, paprasta ir lengvai naudojama, tam, kad nereikėtų kažkokių papildomų daug žinių ir panašiai. Tai kokia informacija svarbi? Atsakymas paprastas, visa informacija svarbi. Ne? Taip. Labai paprastai, bet jeigu rimtai šnekant, paprastai, tai yra skirtingose projekto etapuose ir skirtingose situacijose mes tikrai orientuojamės į tą informaciją, kuri mums svarbi konkrečiam klausimui spręsti. Tai ką galėtume arba ką reikėtų pagerinti, tai irgi atsakymas labai paprastas, kokybė visose etapuose, tiek statybose, tiek projektavime, tiek perdavime ir taip toliau ir panašiai. Tai yra kokybė visa plačiaja prasme. Ką mes galim padaryti? Tai paprasčiausias pirmas dalykas, tai yra centralizuoti savo tą informaciją. Tai yra mes tą CDE visi žinom, Common Data Environment, jisai turėtų būti toksai įrankis nuo pat pradžių projektų ir panašiai. Ką iš techninės pusės mes galėtume atlikti? Ir čia su kompiuteriais problemos. Turėti bent jau nusistatytą tvarką. Įmonės lygmenį, galbūt su laiku mes turėsim kažkokius tai rekomendacijas ir sakykime, to viešojo sektoriaus lygmenį bendrai, bet iš principo iki šiol mums tenka susidurti su tokiu, pradedam projektą ir mums sako, jūs dabar BIM koordinatoriai, jūs sukurkit mums projekte failų struktūrą. Sakyčiau, visiškas absurdas, nes kai mes kalbam apie projektą, tai yra, aš kaip ir minėjau, yra skirtingas rūšis informacijos, kuri turėtų būti talpinama vienoje centralizuotoje vietoje. Ir kaip tai turėtų būti talpinama, kad jinai patogiai būtų visiems prieinama, turėtų vis tik tai būti nusprendžiama iš aukščiau. Tai yra iš to statytojo, valdytojo ir panašiai. Tai susikurti vieną struktūrą ir naudoti visur, visuose projektuose kaip tėvė mūsų. Kas dar? Tie patys failų pavadinimai, ne? Failų pavadinimai, kad nebūtų paskutinis, jisai turėtų būti nustatyta ta tvarka ir smagu, kad jau kuo toliau, tuo daugiau mes atsiranda tų projektų su tokiais reikalavimais. Su laiku noriu tikėti, kad čia mes pasigerinsim šitą situaciją. Kas dar? Dėl tų pačių failų užvadinimų, vėlgi pasilengvinant savo gyvenimą, mes galime užtikrinti su technologijų pagalba, kadangi yra begalės vartotojų, begalės tų žmonių, kurie prieina prie to duomenų, ta tvarka turėtų būti žmogiška. Faktorius žmogiškas jis visą laiką yra, jo niekada mes neeliminuosim ir jisai vėlgi turi būti kontroliuojamas, tikrinamas, tai todėl ta sistema mums leidžia užsiduoti tvarkas, kokie failai gali būti keliami. Tai yra sistema, sakys, bandys kelti su netitinkamu pavadinimu, sakys, netinka ir tiesiog fiziškai to dalyko neleis. Tai yra, naudojant technologijas, mes galim savo, kaip sakau, pasilengvinti gyvenimą, tą nuolatinę kasdienės kontrolės mažinimą, ne savo. Kas dar svarbu? Revizijos. Ne? Tai jeigu mes turim dokumentą, kuris yra keičiasi ir pakeitimus, tai labai yra gerai turėti revizijas, kelinta revizija, kad mes galėtume pasilyginti, jeigu tai yra medžiagų žiniaraštis, jeigu tai yra brėžinys, kad visuomet galėtume atsekti ir grįžti atgal, nuo ko mes pradėjome ir kur mes esame dabar. Kokia informacija yra aktuali. O aktuali, tai dar viena yra dalykas, tai yra koks yra to dokumento statusas. Ar jisai yra tas patvirtintas dokumentas, ar jisai yra kažkoks draftas ir panašiai ir taip toliau. Kas dar? Registrai. Registrai, tai yra tas vadinamas MIDP, turėtų būti irgi labai aiškus. Būna keista, kai rangovai ar projektuotojai negali pasakyti, ką jie projektą turės pateikti. Iš tikrųjų, kai jiems sakai, užpildykit lentelę, ką jūs parengsit, jiems yra iššūkis. Aš manau, kad taip, atsiprašau, neturėtų būti. Ir registras turėtų būti labai aiškus. Jeigu mes darom kažkokį darbą, mes žinom, ką mes turėsim pateikti. Tai čia, sakykime, buvo ta popierinė dalis arba administracinė dalis. Ką mes dar galim pasidaryti, jeigu žvelgiant į technologiją, naudojant biminius įrankius ir taip toliau, tai mes galim, visi, kas čia susidūrė su biminiais projektais, žino problemą su netitikimu tarp brėžinių ir modelio pačio. Jeigu nėra atitikimo, o darbus vis tik mes dar vykdom šiais laikais iš brėžinių, tai kažkurioje vietoje yra tie nesutapimai, kurie finale gali mums iššaukti kitas didelės problemas. Technologijos leidžia mums praturtinti tiek turimus modelius, juos palyginti su reiškia brėžiniais ir iš anksto matyti tas problemas, kurios galėtų atsirasti ateityje. Ką dar mes galime nuveikti? Tai yra išnaudoti technologiją tam, kad mes galėtume ne tik matyti, vizualizuoti, bet kartu ir valdyti. Tai yra, jeigu mes turim modelį, mes galim jį susijęti su užduočių valdymu, taip kaip čia yra parodyta, bet be to mes dar galim tuos elementus susijęti tiek ir su pačia informacija. Tai yra, mes sukūrėm tą tokį stebuklingą ratą, kai mes turim projektinį sprendinį, jį mes susijęm su projektinė dokumentacija ar bet kokia kita dokumentacija ir jų pagalba mes galim valdyti, reiškia, tas užduotis, kurios yra aktualios vieno ar kitų projektų etapu. Kas dar? Kontroliuoti patį statybą. Kontroliuoti statybą, jos kokybę, vėlgi su šiuolaikiniam technologijom, tai darosi vis paprasčiau ir paprasčiau. Tai yra kontroliuoti tai, kas yra pastatyta, su tuo, kas buvo suplanuota ir svarbiausia reaguoti į tai ir pakeisti mūsų tos sprendinius pagal esamą situaciją. Tai yra svarbiausias momentas, kai mes finale daėjom iki to, kad reikia perduoti tą visą projektą, mes esam tikri, kad sprendiniai, projektiniai sprendiniai atitinka mūsų, reiškia, projektiniai atitinka realybę. Jeigu reikėtų trumpai sudėti visą mūsų problematiką į keletą sakinių, tai būtų, manau, jie tokie. Nėra informacijos arba esama informacija tiesiog netitinka realybės. Ne? Tai jeigu aš atėjau spręsti kažkokią tai ventiliacijos sistemą, pasirodo jinai ir rengta kitaip, tai reikia pradėti galvoti nuo to, kaip susigaudyti, kas yra kas. Kas dar? Informacija nepasiekiama arba jos nepavyksta rasti. Tai grįžtam prie tų archyvų, kompiuterių, išmėtytos informacijos po skirtingus tos šaltinius ir taip toliau ir panašiai. Ir trečias tai būtų tiesiog nėra informacijos, kuri yra aktuali eksploatacija. Tai paprastai tariant, visi reikalavimai, ką mes šnekam, turėtų būti apgalvoti iš anksto arba bent jau eigoje numatyti tam, kad jeigu galvojant tą modelį, projektą, projektinę dokumentaciją perduoti į eksploatacinį etapą, jie turi būti apgalvoti ir įtraukti į tą mūsų tą handover etapą su visa reiškia, informacija. Tai apibendrint ir pabaigai aš pasilikau tą patį sakinį apie informaciją. Mes turim galvoti apie tai, kad mes kuriam duomenų bazę. Ir jinai turi būti suvokiama visų vienodai, kad jinai yra prieinama visiems ir galvoti ne tik apie save, bet ir apie tai, kad ta informacija gali būti kažkam naudinga kažkuriame projekto etape. Tai aš visiems to ir palinkėčiau. Ačiū.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Julien Benoit, and as you can see, I don't speak your language, so the next session will be in English, if that's okay with you. It can be in French, because I'm French, but I don't think you speak French, right? So let's keep it in English. I'm working for Catenda, the company, and today I will introduce you briefly to Catenda, myself, explain a bit what we do at Catenda as a company, as a software provider, and then instead of just showing you briefly what software we provide very quickly, and then after that I will explain, thanks to user story, customer stories, why our customers are choosing our solution, because it will make more sense to see how they can use our solution and what for. Very briefly, I will speak about the design and construction phase with our first product, and the next part will be about facility maintenance and operations, everything after the project has been completed. So Catenda in brief. What is Catenda? Catenda is a company from Norway originally. That's okay. Started 2009, quite some time now, and it started as a research project. SINTEF is an organization from Norway that is organizing everything about research and development in Norway, and the founders of Catenda were working there at the time. They had an idea of improving the workflows in construction industry. Never mind the stores. We'll talk about this later, by the way. And in 2012, 2014, the first product was called at the time BIMSync, was launched. It was the initial part of what we call today Common Data Environment. First international customer in 2016. This is a place I was working at the time. I was working there, so that's part of why I'm here in a way. And then it continues with different offices, starting internationally, some investment rounds, and now we started an office and started to tackle the US market. This is us. We are around 40 people at the time, so it's still a small company, but growing and enjoying it in a way. What's very special about Catenda is that we call it a global company because we are serving countries all around the globe in different time zones. And it's very interesting because we learn a lot from customers in different areas. So personally, as a member of Catenda, I think it's very interesting. Of course, we are a small company, so we rely on different offices, but also a large network of partners. And that's also why I'm here today. About myself, so if you scan this, you will have my contact details. I think we'll share the presentation afterwards, probably, so you will have it. But basically, you can say that I'm a guy from the construction industry. I started as a site foreman at Bouygues Construction. Bouygues Construction is a large general contractor operating in France and in Europe. I moved the ladder in this construction industry, being a site manager at some point. And after some time and having kids, I started to work in the office as a construction engineer. And this is where my career shifted in a way, because I met 3D software at the time, like Revit and others. And I started to educate myself about BIM in a way. After that, I was lucky to be joining Groupe Legendre in 2014 on a very interesting project because it was a subway line in a secondary city in France. And this is where I started to use Catenda software. 2015, first enterprise agreement with France, and then I moved to Norway for some years and started to be what we call head of customer success at Catenda. And nowadays I'm a CCO, which means I'm in charge of the customer relationship at Catenda. Some references about our existing customer, the customer base we have. Some logos here, and it's what's also very interesting with Catenda is that we serve a large panel of different customers. We have public sector with SNCF in France, SBB in Switzerland, Grand Paris Express, Schiphol Airport, Statsbygg in Norway, Statnett, Rogaland Fylkeskommune, which is a municipality. So we have public sector, and we also have a large part of the private sector with reconstruction. Kajima in Japan, KSP Engel is a German architect, Sweco, Weideke. So there's a nice mix of different kind of customers, not only private, not only public, but a nice mix of everything, I would say. So now about what do we produce? What's the content of Catenda, the portfolio? So in here, you can see what we serve in the different phase of the project. We have mainly 4 products, and we are trying to serve the full cycle of a construction process, project, from the design phase to recycling and refurbishment in a way. The first product is called Catenda Hub, and this is our proposition for a CDE, a common data environment. And I will share with you afterwards some user stories about why these customers chose Catenda Hub as a CDE and explain what they do with it. We have a companion to Catenda Hub. It's called Catenda Site, and it's basically providing the information from the CDE to the construction site, where you will be using your smartphone or your tablet to access the same information. Afterwards, also, as it's been said before, we have document management included in the CDE, of course. And after that, we have the handover phase and the commissioning, and this is where we have a new proposition now called Catenda Duo, and this will be the second part of my presentation. Will be focusing on this part. And this is the software we will provide for after the project has been completed, for operation and maintenance, and also going towards the smart buildings, because we are able to connect with IoTs and BMS system. All of this is built on top of an engine called Catenda Boost, and this engine is also provided as a software solution to software editors. So we are currently selling this solution to competitors on the market that are using our BCF engine, our viewer, or our document management system. And this is the old Catenda ecosystem in a way. Everything we do is, you also need to know that we are a SaaS business, software as a service, which means everything we provide is provided on the web browser. It's a cloud service. And it's quite efficient that you don't need heavy gears to run everything we have. Also, as we know that we won't do everything, we will never have all the features in the world, we are building an ecosystem with integrators and partners. So what we do is we allow people, or we do connections with different software on the market. I think we're still missing some here. But when it's about sharing documents, we connect to SharePoint. When it's about sharing product information, we can go to CoBuilder. We will never do what Solibri does. We can connect to Power BI, Navisworks, and all the main softwares on the market that are producing models. We will never replace them, but we are really happy to connect with them and integrate. So we have either what we call integration, which means the software vendor will create a link with us in his platform, or we develop what we call plugins, and we can install a bit of Catenda on top of the software, which means the user experience is very smooth. Something that is extremely important and is really at the core of Catenda development and everything we do, we use and rely only on open international standards. IFC and BCF are ISO standards. They are internationally regulated and documented, which means any software vendor is able to implement solution using IFC or BCF. I guess most of you know IFC, I suppose. You know it's a general format to share model information, geometry plus data. BCF, maybe less, it's BIM collaboration format. It means this is the format to organize sharing information and collaboration around IFC models, basically. And of course, it's not the only one. We will, on our software, we will have more open formats. We are considering CTGML for the GIS information. We are also supporting now point clouds in our system, and we are using E57. And the most open standard we can find, we will implement them in our solution. Now, Catenda Hub, that's it was previously called BIMsync, and this is our CDE proposition. So I will explain very briefly what it does, what's the intention, what solution, what we are trying to solve with Catenda Hub, and then I will discuss more some customer use case and customer stories. So built upon the original idea of project communication, that's basically what we all know today. A construction project or any project in the construction industry regroups a large amount of different actors with different interests. And as it is today, most of the communication, if not all of the communication, is organized with emails. And these emails are sent from one point to another. And it can be very difficult to organize the data and the communication, but more importantly, it's also very difficult to track what's been said when, by who. And there's also, even on the market now, you have software vendors proposing to solve this issue by organizing your emails, which is maybe not the smartest way to do it. And of course, what we're trying to solve is, do I have the correct documentation to build and transform virtual in reality? Do I know if I read my email? Did you get it? Did you act on it? Did you do something about it? And then what's the status? What's the current status on the project? What needs to be done? Where are we in terms of progress? So that's what's happening today. And of course, I don't know if it shows here. Maybe not, but what it doesn't show here is everything here is about money. Time is money. So everything you do and everything that is not well done will cost someone's money. So that's I would say, most of the industry now. The construction industry is like this. I've been for some years working there, so I can witness that. What are we proposing at Catenda Hub? We are offering a solution that will be the place where you will share information and documents, and you will be able to share visualization. So this platform is meant to aggregate all the users that you saw, all the actors that you saw on the previous slide, will be joining the platform, will be able to access information in an organized manner, of course. There are rules, there are access rights, so you can distribute the information the way you like. And you will be able to organize all your documentation, so any kind of documents you will have on your project can be set to this platform. You will be able to visualize not only your document, but also your models, so everything that is around BIM and will be organized and displayed on the platform. And communication. And what we show here with these arrows is that there's a constant link between the three. Documents can be linked to models and objects. Objects can be discussed into a communication. We're using the BCF format. And we're also using this BCF format to comment and organize collaboration on documentation. So this triangle, that's our service, basically. That's what we're offering as a CDE. And you will see more about how you can use that in the following stories. So there won't be any live presentation, it's just an overview of what the software is about. It's a software that runs on the cloud, so it's a SaaS platform. You're just using your browser and internet connection. Any small machine, you don't need to have AV equipment to use it, so it's quite interesting for the IT departments in a way. And you can display on the same screen in one software documents, models, information about models, and any collaboration or issues that are about this subject. So that's the proposition we have today as Catenda Hub. So some stories about the use of Catenda Hub on the market today. I selected a panel of different actors and customers we have. I guess in the audience today we have some people from the private sector, I guess. How many? Can you just, if you're working private sector, public sector? Okay, so I made a selection for both. You will find what's interesting for you. And I try to be completely open about what they use it for, and sometimes it's just a narrow, but you will understand that. And I think we'll have some time afterwards to discuss. The first one is Bouygues Immobilier. It's a subsidiary of Bouygues Construction. So I don't know if you know Bouygues, I don't know if they operate in your country, but it's a large company. It's an international company. And their real estate department is called Bouygues Immobilier. I think it's a bit less than 1,000 employees, and they are doing 350 projects a year. Less now because there's some crisis in the housing market, but they used to do that. And Bouygues Immobilier had a very interesting use case because, and also something I didn't say, sorry, all these cases and the following will also try to answer why would I do BIM in my organization? Why is it helping me? That's something also very important that you need to answer. Bouygues Immobilier has decided to move to a BIM design and build workflow for a very specific use case. They started to realize that they are investors. They play with money. They buy a plot of land, they build something, and they sell it. And they need to optimize their return on investment. So they need to make the best of the application rules. And what they discovered very early in time is that they cannot always trust architects. That's how it is when you make drawings by hand or you make drawings on AutoCAD and then you have an Excel spreadsheet to organize the layout and to organize the square meters. There are differences between what's planned and what's delivered. And as a real estate developer, you really need to watch out and make the best of the square meters you are allowed to build. So what Bouygues Immobilier did is that they are enforcing now the use of BIM into the design phase because they are controlling the architect development. The only purpose of why they are using BIM is to check after the architects and see if the program is completely, the planning phase is correctly followed. And for that, they are using our platform, Catenda Hub, because it allows people that are not very expert in BIM to still display models, check model quality if the information is there. It's very easy to use. And they have an engine that is extracting all the areas of the rooms and make a report to the project manager. And between every version of the development, they check if the planning is correct according to what they sold. So they are basically using it to track the progress of the architect. So I thought it would be interesting. And they are doing all kinds of projects. Here it's an example of an office building, maybe a bit like this one, but they are having a lot of housing projects as well. So that would be the first one. Second one, it's an interesting one because it's a mix of private and public. Suez Consulting is a subsidiary of a large general contractor and operator in France, and they chose mainly our system in the beginning because they call it, I think it's a quote from the BIM director there, democratization of BIM. It's a difficult word to say, but it says a lot about why they chose this. They realized that BIM in general can be a bit of a niche in the beginning, and you need to educate people. And what they liked about our approach is that it's very easy to use on a daily basis. You don't need heavy training, you don't need consulting to use our platform. Anyone knowing the construction industry can use our product very easily. And it got an award in France because the project is a wastewater treatment plant, so it can be quite complex projects to realize in terms of phasing and all. But they were happy to use it mostly because it's easy to implement, easy to use, and has the capacity to display complex project with lots of piping and details and all that. And interesting also that it is a mix of private and public. Another interesting one, KSP Engel. I think they are operating in some project in your country at a German architecture office. There it was, I think it was a combination of several of those high-rise buildings. And the main take is that they used our CDE in the shared area of the project. They had their Revit, they had their Tekla, ArchiCAD, they were working on their software. But at some point, they need to open to the rest of the participants and share information with them. And this is where they chose our CDE to publish models and discuss and organize the collaboration. The key factor why they chose our product at some point, it's because it's very easy to onboard people and have people using in the software. Benjamin says, yeah, an hour. In an hour, you know how to use the thing, you can start collaborate, you can start participate in the project. An important key also was to be online, viewing models that are quite heavy online. That was also a key factor. And basically, yeah, ease of use and no headaches for the IT department. And they are, yeah, KSP is the architecture. So I don't know if you know, but architecture offices, depending on what part of the world, they have different roles on the construction projects. And sometimes they are not involved in the execution phase, and sometimes they are involved. And that's the case here. KSP was involved in the execution phase, so quite a long mission for them on this project. One of our biggest customer as of today, Schiphol Airport, public, we can discuss if they are public, but it's mostly a public organization. And I guess all of you know the Amsterdam Airport, Schiphol. And there they are using our CDE as a central location. They are running, I don't know how much, but I think it's between 50 and 100 projects every year on the airport itself, or at least on the location of the airport. There are refurbishment, there are small extension for a lot of shops and stuff, and there are also new terminals. So it could be extremely huge building or very small projects. And they have tons of participants and tons of general contractors. And the mandate they set to all those projects is that everything that is developed and delivered to Schiphol at the end needs to be dropped on the CDE Catenda Hub. Because that's the place where they organize all their data, because it needs to be on open standards, because they realize that it cannot be in the hand of one software provider. And it needs to be connected, it needs to be dropped there because they are using the Boost engine that I talked about earlier to extract information from all the projects they have and connect this information with their asset management system. They have a very advanced, and they have to because they are an airport, they have a very advanced, I don't remember the name exactly, but it's like a data management system in-house that they built. And they extract a lot of information from the models and documents that are delivered by the subcontractors and the general contractors. So that's one of the very interesting use case for us. We're learning a lot thanks to customers like this. SBB and ILF. Interesting project as well. Public sector, infrastructure project. It's a tunnel. It's a combination. It's a Bruckner tunnel. It's a railway tunnel. 1 billion euro in total. Of course, with the tunneling, it's very expensive. And there they are using us mostly for model visualization, because they needed a way to share model and geometry easily across the web with a lot of participants. Not so much about documents, not so much about collaboration, but mostly the visualization of heavy and detailed models of the tunnel. And what Jonathan Dunn is saying here is that price, performance, and usability. So able to handle large projects, not so pricey, and also very easy to use. So that was the main factor here. So realizing that we can serve a large infrastructure project with our solution was really good. And I think I have a last one that. This last one will help me to make the transition with the next part of my presentation. North Shilling it's a factory in Norway. I think they are working in the food industry, if I recall correctly. I'm not sure, but they are building regularly projects, and they have this. They have this mentality of being a provider and being a good developer. They think long term, that they don't implement something just for the sake of it. And when they enforced BIM on their projects, it's because they had in mind operation and maintenance. They know that the cost of a new plant in Norway is not building it, it's maintaining it for 30, 40 years. So that's mostly why they implemented the BIM process with FM and operations in mind, which means they organize also the data they put in the project is also organized in a way that it will be used after during the operation and maintenance phase. And of course, it's an international company, so they have lots of projects and lots of different sites. And what was also very useful is that there were 5 countries working together. 37 teams, so having an online platform was also helping them a lot to achieve the project here. That's it for the. Just have a little drink. That's it for Catenda Hub, the CDE part. Now the next part will be about Catenda Duo. That is the proposition of Catenda for the maintenance and operation phase. So what is it? It's a new software that has been built on top of the Boost engine. So we are using the same components. We're using the viewer, we're using the BCF engine, we're using a lot of stuff that we master in-house. And we try to make a new proposition to the market to say, okay, you had all these models, you put all this energy into building something that is efficient, but stops at the end of the project. When you have the handover, you have all this information available for you, you paid for it actually as an owner, what will you do with it? And this proposition is to be able to reuse and use further every data you collected, either 2D or 3D, for the maintenance and operation phase. So what do we have here? Extremely important for us, the user in front of the software is not a specialist. You could argue that in the construction phase and design, everyone using Catenda Hub is part of the industry, so it's kind of a specialist in a way. These guys here in front of this software must be people from the building itself, using the building. They are users. We call them users. They are not specialists, and that's super important for us. Because on the market today, most of the solutions that are dealing with facility maintenance and operation, they are built and designed for specialists. And we try to be different here. We try to be serving the users, like daily in the building, will be able to use this solution. And we are trying to cover two main areas. The first one will be everything that's maintenance management system. Where is my document about this gear? Where do I know how to operate the shades on the window? How do I fix the door? All this data can be prepared during the construction phase and design thanks to BIM models and relation with documents. And we will display that in this system. We will display what we call data sheets, so everything that helps operating what's in all the equipments that are in the building. And we can connect with actual maintenance systems that are used by specialists, but will still need to communicate with us. So that's part of everything that is maintenance in the building. Of course, everything about visualization is based on a 3D viewer and a 2D viewer, the one that we have built for Catenda Hub. It helps these guys that are not specialists to be in the context of the building, seeing where they are, what it is about, where, in what location. And we also try to go a bit further, thinking ahead in time, even though it's still early days today, but we have a connection with what we call the BOS, Building Operating System, that is a connection to, let's say, smart building. You can implement services, you can realize energy consumption data, you can collect that, and you can implement connection with building management system and IoTs. So basically, what we're trying to build here, and the proposition we have is, as an example, there's always in a room like this, there's always good examples. A BOS is an important part of the solution. It's the software solution that will be able to make your smartphone the remote controller of many devices, for instance. If you look just in this room, we have controlling the shades and the screen, we have one gear here that is a specific vendor. We have, like here, lights, different vendor, different gears. We have ventilation here, different vendor, different gear. What if everything here is in your smartphone? And that's, in a nutshell, that's the proposition of a BOS. Connecting these three guys, removing them from the wall, and using only a smartphone to connect everything. That's possible, that's set up, but it's possible today, thanks to a solution with like that kind of BOS. We also rely, in this solution, we are relying heavily on what's been done before during the design and construction process, and we extract information from IFCs. So what we do is that IFC models is a data collection that is organized. Site, project, levels, rooms, etc. So we extract this information because the user, the one that is using the facility, knows about the building, knows about the floor and the rooms. Mostly that's what they know. When you're using a building, you need to know what building, what floor, what room. What we do in Catenda Duo is that we extract information from the IFC models and we organize them into different traits that are easy to understand for anyone that is not from the industry. A device could be about openings and windows, it can be about electricity installation, heating, and so forth. So we deliver an easy solution for the users to be able to interact with the solution. You don't need to be a BIM specialist to use that tool. And of course, this is in relation with this and also in relation with the viewer. So you will have the ability to view that on your screen in a SaaS software again, so it's online. It will be available for you to display information in a 3D viewer. What are the requirements? We try to keep it simple because we know that we cannot ask the industry to deliver only fancy models. It can be also very simple models, not detailed, room only. So what we need is IFC models with IFC space. We need some classification on objects, so we need to know that a door is a door and a window is a window, but that's all we need. And when it comes to the connectivity with the building, the setup is a bit more, I wouldn't say complex, but it's a bit more intense in a way as a setup, because we interact, a software interacting with physical object is way more complicated to set up in a way. So we have some setup about the building management system needs to be compatible, and we need to, we can use IoTs that have an open API. Again, we rely on open standards. So any IoT provider that has a closed system, we will not be able to connect with them. Not because of us, but because of them. They don't want to be connected. But if we have all this, Catenda Duo can be used to interact with the physical building in a way. So now I'd like to explain in details what our customers are actually doing right now with Catenda Duo. This product, you saw the timeline earlier. The product BeamSync started a long time ago, a bit more than or 10 years actually. This one is way earlier. It's been developed during the last year, I would say. So it started in 2018, and now it's been in production for 2 years already. So it's way younger, but we are making a lot of progress thanks to the actual customers that we have about this solution. So the first one, again, I made some selection of public and private actors. This one is about high schools in Gironde area, somewhere in France. Maybe some of you have been there in the Bordeaux area. And they had an issue there. The Gironde district, I think district is the best translation I can find in English, is a public actor that is in charge of school buildings, gymnasiums, and all kind of public buildings. And when I say they are in charge, is that they have the responsibility of maintaining them and running operations. So they are in charge of light, heating, security for fire security, and all that kind of stuff. So for these specific trades, they have subcontractors. So that's okay for them. They just pay someone, does the thing for what is critical in terms of technical equipment. But everything else that is not technical, they have their own employees dealing with it. So when you have a school and a door handle is broken, they have to call someone, the guy takes the car, takes the gears, go to the place, fix the thing, and goes to the next one. As of today, or before we started with Catenda Duo, everything they were doing was based on emails and an Excel spreadsheet. So that was not working great. To be honest, and they realized that they need to improve something. They were also in the process of transforming all their assets into models, modeling everything from scanning and turning them into models. So they realized that this data could be used for operations and maintenance. So what they do is they basically gave access to, so they modeled 5 of their sites as a pilot project that is ongoing as we speak. So it's quite large facilities. It's high schools. They usually have around 1,000 kids in the place, in each place. So it's large buildings, large facilities, and they have janitors in charge of changing gears, fixing the rooms, fixing the doors, everything that they can fix that is not technical. So now they have 5 projects inside Catenda Duo, and people from each site have access to it. They're using it either on the laptop or with their smartphone to report issues. So they just take a picture and say where it is by selecting the room, and it's been pushed to the software here. And the technicians and the employees of Gironde that are in charge of operating the building and fixing it, they get the notification, they get the list, and they can see where it is in the building. So that's the most valuable proposition we have to them. Where do I need to fix this door? Because the most time they waste on this case is that they go to the desk at the entry at this location, and they need to find a room, they need to find the keys, they need to find everything. Thanks to this system, they can organize before, check if someone is there, if the room is empty, it can be open, can be not. So it's really easing their process of fixing stuff inside this district in Gironde. And the plan is, if this is confirmed successful, and we are confident that it will be, they will push more of their assets into our system, because they have sport facilities, they have a lot of buildings that they are in charge of, and they will use it to organize the daily maintenance, you can call it that way. So I thought that would be a very interesting use case for you to understand why they chose our platform. Also, I didn't say that, but in the case I present to you, they are starting from, if you remember the screen with the Catenda Duo and the user, on the left-hand side you had facility maintenance, and then we were moving to smart building and digital twin. My selection is the same. We're starting from facility maintenance, we'll be moving to more and more advanced implementation of the solution. The next one. Ville de Tonnet. Tonnet is a city in Switzerland. I would say small city, it's not really large, public actor. And they had kind of the same issue as with Gironde. Lots of building to operate, lots of building to organize, manage. They are in charge of a lot of public facilities. They have their own employees doing most of the task, or at least part of the task. And they had a process in running of scanning and modeling all their assets, because they realized that all this data that is available needs to be organized in some way. So they chose modeling and BIM models, I would say. And in the same way, they are using Catenda Duo to notify repairs and fix that needs to happen in facilities, but also they are using it for preventive maintenance, because the Catenda Duo is able to deal with corrective maintenance. There's an issue, please fix it. But the system can also notify users, this room will not be available next month because there will be some painting in it, that kind of stuff. So they are using it for both. And what they implemented is that when, so we actually modified the solution to achieve what they wanted to do. So when someone is creating an issue in the system, they can choose if it's either issue, which means corrective, or if it's preventive, so it's about maintenance. And they are also dealing with dates and cost, because they want to record how much did it cost to fix the door handle, how much did it cost to fix anything in the building, because they want to track why it's tracking toward the budget they have, because today it was done. We know that at the beginning of the year we allocate budget, 10,000, and we wait until the end to see how much we spent, which is not very easy to follow up on during the year. So with this system, they want to track better the cost estimation, or the cost, like the actual expense on each repair they did on site, helping them to have a better budget for the next year. Again, it's an easy proposal, easy solution. It seems like it's easy, but except an Excel spreadsheet, they had nothing to do that before. And they're also benefiting of the context, because when you see the Ville de Tonnet project on a map, it's very easy to see, oh, this is the place I want to check. Later on, they also have, but it's more something they have as a plan. They want to plan also collecting energy consumption from each facility. And they want to use some IoT device for that. But they will do that later on. Another example, which is kind of different in a way. Angevin Group is a general contractor in France that sees that the competition is really fierce among general contractors, and they need to find ways to make a difference. They need to convince clients that they better be working with them than the competition. So they invested a lot of time and money into implementing BIM workflows in their organization, but they see that everyone is doing it, so it's not enough to make a difference. So what they said is that, that's the quote I have here, we become more attractive to customers because we have a wider range of skills. And what they want to showcase with the use of Catenda Duo is that they are also able to provide solutions for facility maintenance and smart buildings. So the use case here is that they modeled their headquarters in a small city of France, and they are able to demonstrate that all the documentation is available in this building. When you click on an object, you will find the relevant documentation, specification, drawings, and so forth. And they will also implement IoT device to record air quality in the meeting rooms, and also I think they will have presence at desk in the open space. So they want to demonstrate that they have some knowledge about smart buildings, and they are moving forward into innovation in a way around BIM and facility maintenance. So it's interesting for us to see that we didn't think about general contractors being a potential customer for Catenda Duo, but as a showcase, it's kind of a nice opportunity for them. Yayo, Janssen de Jong. Oh, interesting case. Now we are moving a bit further and really going into the smart building connectivity. Janssen de Jong is a group in Netherlands that is made of different smaller subsidiaries. All of them are construction companies with different fields of expertise. Some are building small houses in wood, some are on the retail market, etc. So they have different subsidiaries. And they invested a lot of time and money and effort, this is a quote from the CEO, in the last years to change the way they work in the company and implement BIM, and I like the way they call it BIM engineering. I like this quote because it's really what it is. Organize what you do into a format that can be shared and archived. So that's what they're doing. They changed the technical department from drawings to modeling, and now they are implementing an exercise, demonstrator of their knowledge around digital twin on one of the headquarters. It's called Hercuton. It's a company that does retail and I think it's retail mostly, and this kind of office buildings, like small size or medium size office building. And their use case, quite interesting. So of course they modeled everything, so it's available in the viewer of Catenda Duo. It's broken down into floors, so it's easy to access. And what they are tracking is the usage of the building. Usage in terms of air quality, so they have sensors in the rooms that record the CO2 levels, the temperature, humidity, etc. And it's recorded in a timeline, which means you can analyze this data over the time. You can go back and see how it's been in January, February, March, etc. So you can learn from this data. They also have the ability to check. They have a big meeting room on the first floor that is for 20 people, and they know that it's not used correctly. So they are wondering if they should split it into 2 rooms. So they are recording this via IoT. How many people are in this room? There are now solutions on the market that can record, thanks to a magic camera, how many people are in this room anonymously. So they don't see people, it's just silhouettes. So you can record that. You can know how much people were in a specific meeting. Of course, they are also using it as a facility management system, so they want to track defects and things to fix and preventive maintenance on their building, so they're using the tool for that, which is one of the first use case. And lastly, they are using it to track, so as I said, in different rooms they are tracking air quality, and they're also crossing these values with the settings of the ventilation system. So they have a BMS engine, of course, that regulates temperature and ventilation in the office, and they are crossing the result in the rooms with the settings of the BMS to see if they can improve the settings to have a better experience during the day. And lastly, the new implementation they made is that on each floor they have an open desk area. It's an open space where people can sit at their desk and be there to be working. Since COVID hit, of course, now people are more and more working from home and having a hybrid way of working. And they realize that they need to know what's the level of presence is in this office to see if they need to change the layout. Because if this open space is too large, maybe they can create new meeting rooms. They don't need that much desk in a way. So that's what they are tracking this. So it's a little sensor that is applied below the desk that can detect, I think it's working on the temperature of the body. So if they feel the 37 degrees or above, it says there must be someone. And then it's switched as green. So that's an interesting use case. It's not to track people because anyone can sit here, but it's to see how intense the usage is on a daily basis. Usually on Fridays, it's completely empty. People are working from home. So some pictures, because I've been helping on site with the setup. So this is a proximity sensor. So this is a small chip that is 2 by 2 centimeters that you can stick on a wall or below a table. And this is able to say when a door is open or closed, for instance, or when someone is sitting at a desk. That's the very tiny example. This one is a specific camera that is set on top of a door like this to see how many people are in the room. So it's another provider that is also connected to our solution. And the last one is, I think this one is for air quality. So it's collecting data from different rooms thanks to a specific device that is here. Yes, that's the sensor that you can find on the walls, and it's recording temperature, humidity, CO2 particle, etc., and reporting to the main one. And lastly, what's important to understand when we are talking about this building operating system, this BOS, they are installed inside the facility. So what's super interesting with this solution is that the data that is generated by all this usage doesn't go to our system, it stays here. It stays in their server room. And the data they collect and the data they're producing here is only stored here. What we do with Catenda Duo is that we connect and ask questions to this machine in a way. So easy to implement. Last example is probably the most advanced that we have today in our portfolio. That project was kind of writing the specifications for Catenda Duo. So Catenda Duo has been built to fulfill the needs of this customer. It's a French project in an average city of France. It's a mix of public and private because although it's a private company, it's called operating, it's a public mandate because they are in charge of social housing. So it's a private company but doing public projects in a way, that kind of setup. Maybe you have that here, I don't know. So it's a mix of public and private. And this building is their headquarters. 9-story, quite nice and large building, and in that case, it's a net zero energy building. So it's not using energy; it's actually producing a bit of energy instead of consuming it only. And they needed to have a different set of gears and systems to operate and maintain the building and organize the energy consumption as well. So what it says here is that the regulation for temperature is done thanks to sensors, and it's regulating the shades automatically, the ventilation, temperature, and so forth. And Catenda Duo is the user interface for each user of the facility to interact with the systems. So how does that work? Of course, everything has been built with the BIM workflow in place, so everything has been modeled, extremely detailed, construction level detail of the building. And all the documentation has been handed over, in this example. Every object in the facility has the execution documents attached to it. So the user, when they click on the chair, they click on the window, they click on the door, they will find all the relevant information from the construction project. That was by contract. So the general contractor had to deliver all the documents thanks to this platform. That was set in a contract from day one. So now they have a proper, easy way to find the documentation about this door. Give me the details. What's the color? What's the provider, etc. So that was one of the first important use case. Of course, now the documentation is available, so all the regular documentation, execution drawings, specification sheets, everything is stored also in the document area of Catenda Duo and available for to be displayed. They also use this system to organize the commissioning and handover. And I can tell you the general contractor didn't like it because that was a super easy access for anyone in the building to report defects. So usually, you know, when you hand over a building, you have a set of people that are doing this for the owner, but the users, they don't really mind. They see that something is broken and they don't say anything. With this system, they were able to connect with their phone, take a picture, and say, hey, the door is broken here, please fix it. So they organize this in the system, and you have quite a lot of these tiny defects, like we all know in a new building. It's never new. Huh? When it's delivered, lots of things are kind of broken in a way, or not well done. So that was used for that. Again, by contract. So the general contractor was not, there was no way they escaped that. Interesting use case. On the top right here, they chose to have external shades, exactly like this kind of curtains, that are operated automatically by sensors. If there's too much light, it will go down. If it's dark, it will go up, etc. But of course, when you're in a room, sometimes you want to do it yourself because you see, oh, there's too much light, I want the shades down. So each window is connected with the application. You have a button. When you select the window on the platform, you get up and down buttons, so you can operate it from your phone directly. And that was a solution that was decided by the owner, and they saved quite a lot of money because there is no switch on the wall. There's no physical switch to operate the shades. It's only in the system. And I don't know how much they save, but they save quite a lot of money on each floor. In each room, there used to be these little buttons here. There's none in the office, in this building, only via the application. Another usage is shared area. So they have meeting rooms that anyone can use. And it's a ninth floor, so it's quite lots of floor to choose from. So if you want to know where you can find a free space, you can log in and check what's available on your floor, and you can check above, check below to know and save a bit of time when you want to go. And you also record temperature and CO2 particles. In some areas, you can switch on and off the ambient lights also with the system. So it was an interesting use case. And they do that because as it is a net zero building, they need to track the usage because they have a contract with a general contractor that says if the usage is different, like too many rooms used at the same time or too often, then they have some money exchange on the contract in a way, because there will be more energy used, etc. So of course, they also monitor energy consumption, so they have a lot of counters. In each floor, they have different counters. So they are counting electricity. I think they have electricity used by everything that's plugged. So computers, etc., is also counted differently. They have heating for water and water consumption. And also you have the big equipments on the roof are also monitored here. So this is just for display in a way, but all the data in the back is recorded in a timeline, so you can analyze afterwards how it's been generating energy or using energy in both cases. And lastly, the last use case of this project was about meeting rooms. So they selected some meeting rooms to be available here. So you can see the planning. It's linked to Microsoft Outlook planning. So you can see if it's booked, and you can make a quick booking directly from here. Using your phone, you scan a QR code that we put on the wall, and you will be able to select the room and make a quick booking. This building has been certified ready to service. So it's a new certification. It's kind of small right now, but it's growing, and it's supported by the Smart Buildings Alliance. So this is a new way to say it's been built on open standards, which means if there's a new use case in 5 years from now, you will still be able to implement new IoTs and new system on the facility. It's not a closed system, basically, and it's validated by an external party. I think I covered most of my use case. Yes. So that was the very details of I wanted to share with you as use case. Food for thought, a bit of a bigger perspective I want to share with you at the end of this presentation. Very quickly, and I think I'm done on time. I'm quite okay on time. It's not something that is the truth with a capital T. It's just something I would like you to think about. Every dollar spent in structuring data is not an expense, but an investment. Why do we mean by that? We are in the computer age, and everyone nowadays is talking about AI, using the data, etc. But I think what everyone misses and forget to say is that AI is a small part of what we call machine learning, and the very starting point of all this technology is structured data. If you don't have it, it won't happen at all. So if you can think about this, and it's not maybe the truth, but still, we really consider that anything you can spend, any owner that can spend money on organizing the data and structuring data, it's definitely an investment. Something to think about. Lastly, open data is the only available resource for collective intelligence. We believe it's been proven many times. The last perfect example was the COVID crisis. There was a lot of information shared thanks to open data. And if this data was closed because it was proprietary, it wouldn't have happened the way it did. So it means that we can organize ourselves as a society better and smarter with open data that is available for everyone. And that's it.
Thank you.
So thank you, Julian. Nu ką, pradėjom nuo problematikos, pasižiūrėjome į gražius pavyzdžius, dabar turėtume grįžti prie kasdienių projektų, tuos, kuriuos mes įgyvendinam, ir iš tikrųjų labai trumpai pasižiūrėti žingsnius, ką reikia padaryti tam, kad mes galėtume eiti link vieno ar kito rezultato. Tai jeigu labai paprastai mes turim nustatyti pasiekimus ir išmatuojamus tikslus projekte. Tai mes kalbam daugiau apie strateginį lygmenį, jeigu mes pradedam projektą, taip kaip Džiulinas rodė, skirtingi projektai turėjo skirtingą panaudojimumą, nuo tiesiog projekto kokybės pagerinimo iki skaitmeninio dvynio sukūrimo. Tai lygiai taip pat kiekvienas projektas turėtų būti vertintas strateginiam lygmenį ir nustatyti jo tikslai, kas tai turėtų būti pasiekima ir finale mes tai turėtume turėti galimybę pamatuoti, ar mes tai įvykdėm. Aišku, jeigu nusileidžiam iki projekto lygmenio, tie visi reikalavimai turėtų būti aiškiai išdėstyti tam EIRE, mūsų vadinamam dokumente, pagal tą naują standartą Exchange Information Requirement, kas, kaip, kada jau konkrečiai projekto lygmenį turi būti daroma, kokie tikslai turi būti įgyvendinami. Be abejo, tą, ką jau minėjom, ką mes ir šiandien šnekam, tai yra CDE, tai yra ta vieninga sistema, ta vieta, kurioje mes kaupiam tą informaciją, galvojame apie tos informacijos struktūrizavimą, jos poreikį, panaudojimumą ir taip toliau. Ir tą CDE mes turėtume turėti kaip galima anksčiau, tai yra nuo pirminės idėjos, nuo pirminių dokumentų atsiradimo, jinai turėtų būti kaupiama vienoje centralizuotoje vietoje, aišku, administruojant, kas jie gali prieiti ir taip toliau ir panašiai, bet kaupimas tos informacijos nuo pat pirmų minučių yra, kaip tas, sakoma, key benefitas einant prie projekto sėkmingo įgyvendinimo. Aišku, kas toliau, turim vis tiek naujos technologijos, nauji įrankiai, reikia turėti tam, sakykime, skirti tam resursų, laiko, įgyti žinių, apmokyti, reiškia, savo vidinės komandos žmonės, bei turbūt vis tiek iššaukia ir tas naujų rolių atsiradimus, kaip informacijos vadovas arba dokumentų tas kontrolierius, kad informacija, kuri vis tik tai yra kaupiama, dedama, jinai ne tik, kad atitiktų reikalavimus, jinai turėtų būti korektiška. Ta, ką mes jau šnekėjom, padėta į savo vietą, užvadinta teisingai, statusas jos aiškus ir taip toliau ir panašiai. Reikia tą savo kasdienį veikloje įsivertinti ir turėti galvoje. Be abejo, reikalavimai turi būti aprašomi BEP dokumento pagalba, sakykime, bendrinė prasme. Jeigu jūs matot, aš specialiai stengiuosi nenaudoti nei vienos abreviacijos tos BIM, nes bendrai čia yra bendriniai dalykai. Jau šitie dokumentai, ar EIRAS, ar BEPas, tai yra tik tai įrankiai tų tikslų pasiekimui. Ne? Vėlgi, tai turi būti būtinai detalizuotas, kaip kiekvienam žingsnį, kiekvienam etape tie tikslai bus įgyvendinami. Ta, ką aš jau ir minėjau, tai yra kontroliuoti. Negalima palikti taip, kad mes pradėjom projektą, reiškia, finale pasižiūrėjom, kas gavosi. Visuomet turi būti kontroliuojamas, stebimas progresas, užsiduodami tie milestone'ai vadinami, kad tarpinės stotelės irgi būtų atsekamos, ar buvo tie tikslai pasiekti ar ne, ir galbūt reikia imtis tam tikrų papildomų veiksnių, reiškia, kad mes galėtume pasigerinti tą situaciją, kuri yra tai dienai. Vėlgi, įsitikinti, kad patys turit pakankamai žinių. Technologijų pasaulis arba BIM pasaulis iš tikrųjų yra susijęs su labai daug skirtingų technologijų. Jų visų išmanyti tikrai turbūt neįmanoma. Suvokti bendrinius dalykus galbūt, bet iš principo tam, kad užtikrinti visą tą procesą, kad visos tos technologijos dirbtų tarpusavį vienam tikslui, iš tikrųjų reikia nemažai žinių, nebijoti, samdyti ekspertus tam, kad padėtų toj kasdieniai rutinai, kad galima būtų su tais klausimais susitvarkyti. Na ir be abejo paskutinis, bet turbūt pats svarbiausias, tai yra komunikacija. Užtikrinta komunikacija, centralizuota komunikacija, reiškia plačiaja prasme, ne tik, kad paskambint, pasakyti ar panašiai. Duomenų dalinimasis, apsikeitimas, statuso kontrolės, viską tai įeina į tą žodį komunikacija. Tai jeigu yra bloga komunikacija, tai mes tikrai negalim tikėtis tokio rezultato. Ir svarbu nepamiršti vieno dalyko. Aš jau kaip paminėjau, kad aš specialiai nenaudoju tų BIM 3 raidžių. Visi šitie reikalavimai šiaip dabar atsispindi turbūt naujam ISO standarte, taip, visi turbūt girdėjo, ISO 19650, Bet jeigu paskaityti pavadinimą to pačio standarto, tai pažodžiu nepasakysiu, bet principas yra toks, kad tai yra projekto informacijos skaitmenizavimas, įskaitant BIM technologijas. Tai yra, tas standartas nėra skirtas BIM-ui, tas standartas skirtas bendrai informacijos skaitmenizacijai tam, kad užtikrinti būtent tą galutinį rezultatą. Tai aš tą idėją ir norėčiau visiems palinkėti, geresnių projektų, laimingesnių užsakovų ir sutaupytų pinigų. Ačiū Jums dar kartą.
Mes taip pat prieisim prie klausimų diskusijų sesijos, bet prieš tai aš noriu dar labai susijusią temą paliesti. Nerijus šiek tiek ją palėtė pirmoji pristatymo dalyje ir tai labai aktualu, nes kai mes šnekam apie informaciją, kai mes šnekam apie informacijos patikimumą, kiek jinai yra korektiška, vadinkim taip, ar galim ją pasitikėti. Ir čia yra labai didelis iššūkis Lietuvoje, taip. Ar mes pasitikim projektų, ar statybininkai stato pagal projektą. Kai pradedi gilintis į šitą temą, labai įdomių dalykų randi. Tai tada daros klausimas, ar... projekto, ar statome pagal projektą, yra labai didelė problematika. Teisingai, nes iš tikrųjų, kaip Nerijus paminėjo, mes dabar jau įpratę naudoti BIM, sakykim taip, didelė dalim mes naudojame BIM technologijas ir iš BIM technologijų generuojami du brėžiniai, iš kurių praktiškai po to statybininkai stato. Tikėtina, kad jie stato taip, bet klausimas yra kontrolės. Kaip sukontroliuoti, ar yra pastatyta pagal projektą ir kaip, ar ne pagal projektą, vadinkim taip, kad nebūtų interpretacijų ir panašiai, ir kad projektinė dokumentacija atspindėtų realybę, tai kas pastatyta. Tai pastatyta, kad būtų iš tikrųjų ir dokumentacijų. O ne tik tai formaliai, reiškia, perdodama, taip turėjo būti pastatyta, nes labai dažnu atveju pas mus taip turėjo būti pastatyta dokumentacija, kuri po to pereina į eksploataciją ir mes žinome, kuo tai gali baigtis, tai ateina iš tikrųjų realybė kitokia, taip, ir žiūri į dokumentus, realybė kitokia, arba renginys ne tas instaliuotas, arba dar kažkas, ar dar kažkas. Taigi, šita tema yra, kviečiame žiūrėti iš tikrųjų įrašą, buvo webinaras, nežinau, kas iš jūsų žiūrėjo šitą webinarą, pakelkite mes vienas. Tai dalis matė šitą webinarą, tai yra labai, aš manyčiau, naudinga tema, kad mes šnekam, kad skanavimas gali padėti mums, sutapatinti realybę su mūsų projektu. Labai paprasta. Jeigu mes turim BIM modelius, kaip turėtų būti pastatyta ir tarkime, kad visi brėžiniai išeina iš BIM modelio ir atitinka BIM modelį, čia jau kita valdymo procedūra. Beje, Gertianas paminėjo, kad vienas klientas kaip tik tą daro, reiškia, kontroliuoja. Ir aplamai technologijos ir Nerijus paminėjo, leidžia šiais laikais kontroliuoti, ar brėžiniai atitinka modelį. Yra tam patikros mechanizmai. Ir tada tokiu atveju mes labai paprastai galim sulyginti, reiškia, ar mes statom pagal projektą arba ne. Viskas labai paprasta. Ir tas procesas iš principo turi tapti ne tam, kad, kaip sakyti, aktuotis kas mėnesį, ne dėl to, kad išmokti pinigus, bet tam, kad kontroliuoti iš tikrųjų kokybę. Ir tai yra iš principo kokybės valdymo rutininė dalis, tai yra kas savaitiniai, tarkim, kas savaitiniai rutininis darbas. Tai kviečiu, reiškia, nueiti mūsų tinklalapį, arba tiesiog kreipkitės į mus. Mes atsiųsim nuorodą, arba galite susirasti mūsų tinklalapį Intelligent BIM Solution, projektų akademija, ir ten yra įrašai, webinarų įrašai. Paspaudant webinarai, kad filtras suveiktų, arba tiesiog susirasti šitą paveiksliuką, jūs galėsite pamatyti, kaip yra sumerginama arba suvienodinama projektas su realybė. Ir ten yra daug labai tokių įdomių dalykų, praktinių dalykų. Tai viskas iš mūsų pusės ir dabar atėjo turbūt laikas klausimam, questions. Ačiū, čia aš iškart pasakau, bet mes dabar neatsisveikinam ir galite užduoti klausimą.